The drinks keep flowing, and the room buzzes with laughter. Someone nudges Deputy Kang, asking when she plans to get married. She raises a brow, questioning if he's really talking to her. He acts confused, saying she's at the right age for it. 32 this year, isn't she? Or is she married to her job? She corrects him. Still 31, actually. He waves it off, saying time moves fast after 30, especially for women. The manager chimes in, mentioning an old saying about women declining after 25. He laughs, agreeing, but adding that the only thing really declining is what's behind their legs. He jokes that Kang must be an exception, still going strong at 31. Sometimes he thinks it's a shame she's single, such a waste of a good face. She sighs, asking if he's drunk, since he keeps crossing the line. He just calls for more drinks, dramatically claiming he's suffering over there. Kang shakes her head, turning to the manager instead, offering a drink. The manager grins, saying anything from Deputy Kang is worth drinking. He raises his glass, toasting to her soon-to-be-married status. Everyone cheers and drinks. He sighs happily, saying Kang's drinks always hit just right, and asks for her secret. She chuckles, telling him there's no need to learn, she'll just make them for him. He nods, saying that's why the party wouldn't be the same without her. Kang is the one who wanted this party in the first place. In their industry, advertisers put in the effort to create ads and clients simply evaluate them. But these days, women are too smart to fall for just anything. They're picky about quality, design, and every little detail. Even their female staff members analyze newlywed appliances like detectives, picking apart every feature. Gatherings like this aren't just for drinks. Important conversations happen over these tables. Kang, feeling generous after the compliments, calls for another round. Manager Kim is more than happy to go all out. She doesn't particularly enjoy these dinners, but she refuses to be excluded just because she's a woman. She made sure to be part of the crowd, blending in with the older men, and before she knew it, she became a key player at these corporate gatherings, the company's secret weapon. Maybe it's proof her skills are recognized. Or maybe it's just because she knows how to hold her liquor. Either way, time flies and suddenly it's already midnight. She tells the manager she'll be back in a moment. He groans, saying the mood is just getting good, but she waves him off, claiming she needs to empty her glass before she drinks more. Stepping outside, she lights a candle, taking a deep breath. These men go on and on about marriage, and she has to smile through it, especially with a client this big. But honestly, how is she supposed to let out all this stress? Who is she supposed to relieve it with? The guy at the table? Not a chance. And this isn't the kind of relief she needs anyway. Old habits die hard, and hers happens to be dealing with stress through physical exertion. Not the healthiest coping mechanism, but hey, some habits are harder to break than others. Straight out of Harvard, straight into a job, straight to New York. No breaks, no detours. The only thing that got her through the endless work was her one method of stress relief. For her, it's essential, like a nutrient or maybe a sport. After a good workout, she feels refreshed, recharged, ready to go again. But marriage? Please. Like she's the only one pulling long hours. Just last month, she broke things off with a guy who was a perfect match, all because of that word. And since then, it's been non-stop overtime. A full month of working like crazy, piling up stress like it's part of the job description. At this point, she's had enough. Can they just go home already? She takes a wrong turn and ends up in the wrong room, stumbling right into a scene straight out of a drama. Two people tangled up in an affair. The guy looks right at her, not even flinching, just meeting her eyes like he has all the time in the world. That gaze of his, it's almost like he's kissing with his eyes. What the hell did she just walk in on? While she was busy playing entertainer for the old men next door, these two were sneaking around, having their own fun. She mutters under her breath, irritated. Maybe she's more frustrated than she thought. Just watching them has her feeling all wound up, like some restless teenager. She heads back to the dinner room, trying to shake it off. The manager jokes about where she's been, saying they thought she fell into the toilet. Right, this is her reality. No secret affairs, no thrilling encounters, just a bunch of drunk coworkers and another long night she'll barely remember. Someone teases her, asking if she slipped away to call a secret boyfriend. She sighs. She should just forget all of this, call it a night and go home. But then she sees him again, the man from the other room. She tells him he's standing in front of the wrong room. He smirks, says maybe for her, but he's exactly where he's supposed to be. She squints at him, asks if he's saying he followed her. He tilts his head, asks if she has a thing for old men, says she sure keeps interesting company. She rolls her eyes, tells him it's work, not fun. He nods, says entertaining people is work too, flicks out a cigarette, and lights it. She stares at him, asks why he's smoking indoors, snatches it from his fingers. She sighs, apologizes again for barging into his room earlier. The cook says she doesn't have time for some rookie who doesn't even know how fire alarms work. She tells him to go, says he shouldn't keep his lover waiting. He laughs, says not his lover. She shrugs, says doesn't matter, not her problem. He leans in, tells her to wrap up whatever she's doing and come out. She folds her arms, says she's working, tells him to go finish whatever he started too. He raises a brow, asks if she's a feminist. She stares at him, asks why he even cares, says she already apologized for entering his room. End of story. She points at the door, tells him if he opens it one more time, she'll cut his fingers off. She turns and walks away, disappears into her room. He watches her go, chuckles to himself, says what a funny woman. Morning comes. She heads to the front desk to pay for her room. The receptionist smiles, says the bill has already been settled. She blinks, asks by who. The receptionist keeps smiling, says it's confidential. She clicks her tongue, says she doesn't care who paid, tells them to cancel it and charge her card instead. The receptionist says they need the original card to cancel the payment. She frowns, says she has no idea whose card that was. The receptionist apologizes for the inconvenience. She sighs, says everyone knows she uses the company card, so it couldn't have been anyone from finance. She mutters to herself, wondering who it could be. Says she'll figure it out when she gets home. She runs a hand through her hair, says she must be at her limit, even seeing things now. Has she ever been this frustrated? She clicks her tongue, says she's held out too long, says this won't do, she needs to call someone right now. Before she can pull out her phone, he appears again, the guy from last night. He leans against the counter, smirks, asks where she thinks she's going. She exhales sharply, asks if it's him again. He shrugs, says she was interested, so he got curious. Says since she's been quiet, she should at least get something in return. She scoffs, tells him to forget it, says she's in a rush. Then her gaze lingers on him and, well, he looks even better in daylight. Definitely the guy from earlier, and a damn fine distraction. He raises a brow as she studies him. She mutters that he's staring too much, asks if he's trying to melt her face off. Asks if his eyes are really gray or just contacts. Says his skin is like porcelain, his nose and jawline too perfect. He doesn't say a word, just stands there looking like a painting. She squints, says he's what, 6'1", maybe taller, broad shoulders, toned body. A total nightmare. She groans, says this is driving her crazy. They get to the hotel. She barely steps inside her room before she's pinned against the door. He leans in, eyes locked on hers, and says she has something on her. A mole. She asks if he's just going to stare at it or do something about it. He smirks, brushes his lips against hers, and murmurs that it's still there. What a shame. He tilts his head and says waiting around to pick her up was worth it. She studies him, pretending to consider, then asks if his eyes are contacts. He scoffs and says they're real. Impressed? Maybe a little. He tells her to look closer. She laughs and asks how exactly she's supposed to do that. He shrugs and says he has other places she can check out. She pushes him back slightly and says she thought he was patient. He grins and says he is, but she's making it hard. His confidence is infuriating but also unfairly attractive. Sharp features, flawless skin, those eyes staring at her like she's the only thing in the room. She feels a little lightheaded. He's definitely trouble, but maybe just this once. She doesn't mind. She stretches, feeling sore in places she didn't expect, and blinks against the bright morning light. Turning her head, she sees him still asleep beside her. So it wasn't a dream. Now that she gets a proper look at him, he seems even younger in the daylight. Her body feels lighter, mind clearer, stress completely gone. Men really are the best cure for exhaustion. She glances at his shirt from last night, noticing the missing button. It's designer, of course. He seems like the type who enjoys looking sharp. Maybe she should at least cover the cost of getting it fixed. Seems fair after such a satisfying night. She scribbles a quick note, leaves some cash beside it, and heads out without a second glance. A knock at the door. The receptionist reminds him it's time to check out. He groans, head pounding, and blinks at his surroundings. This room is definitely not his. Sitting up, he spots a note and some cash on the nightstand. What is this? Memories of last night come rushing back. Right, it was fun. More than fun. It's the first time he's ever wanted someone that badly. The first time he's thought so much about a woman, even after it was over. But a note, a button, and 100,000 won? Interesting. He pulls out his phone, dials a number, and asks about the woman who was sitting with the men at the table he paid for. What's her name? Meanwhile, she admires the hotel's beauty, taking in the luxurious interior. The attention to detail is impressive. Her companion agrees, saying it feels almost too pretty to eat in a place like this. But of course they have to try the food. No way they're leaving without seeing if it tastes as good as it looks. He thanks his Unni for bringing him here. She waves him off, saying if she finds another great spot, they'll go again. She apologizes, saying she has another reason for being there. If Park Minjun is around at this hour, then Jeongyeon Jihan must be too. Minjun scoffs, saying a woman just left Jihan. Yu Songwoo laughs, saying he must have things mixed up. Wasn't Jihan the one who got left? The guy's been searching for her ever since, doesn't even know her name or contact info, but he won't give up. Jihan has been glued to his phone, completely fixated. Why would someone like him be this hung up on a woman he only spent one night with? Exactly. That's why it's not a normal situation. Apparently, she left money behind and vanished. They pause. Money? Jihan confirms it. She left a note saying she had fun and 100,000 won. Just 100,000 won? For a night with Jihan? That takes guts. Honestly, it's impressive. But she might have just gotten herself into some serious trouble. Not even a stack of cash, just a single bill. There's no way Jihan is letting this go. He's going to track her down, and they all know it. Hopefully this doesn't backfire. Honestly, it would be better if he never found her at all. Yuran makes her grand entrance, all smiles and confidence, announcing her arrival. A model and actress, of course, she knows how to work a room. Minjun raises an eyebrow, asking what she's doing here. She says she was just shopping for dresses for her staff when she spotted her dear Minjun Oppa, so naturally, she followed him. He greets her, amused but not surprised. She grins, saying they shouldn't treat her like an uninvited guest. She has every right to be there. Besides, last night she was with Jihan Oppa. Yurang Jang, Korea's undisputed top actress, runs into Jihan again after a long time at a drama production presentation. Just as he's about to grab a drink with his friends, she happens to show up. He greets her, and she casually says hello back. Minjun notices something funny. Jihan doesn't call him an actor, but he does for Yurang. Is it because she's a woman? Jihan smirks, asking if he's jealous. Yurang watches them banter, thinking maybe this is when she first started falling for Jihan. She suddenly turns to Minjun, asking about that friend he was with at the production presentation. Who is he? One of the rookies at the company? Minjun looks confused, asking who she's talking about. She gets straight to the point, the tall, handsome one. Minjun laughs, asking her to be more specific. She says the one that didn't bother saying hi to her. Minjun finally gets it. That's Jihan. Her eyes light up. Even his name sounds handsome. She demands an introduction, saying he's totally her type. Minjun sighs, telling her it's not that simple. She waves off his excuses, saying she'll handle the rest. She even clasps her hands together and playfully begs. Minjun groans, already regretting this. He just knows she's going to pester him nonstop about this at every single schedule. Resigned, he reluctantly tries to explain the situation to Jihan. Minjun asks Jihan if he remembers meeting Yurang before. She's been pestering him nonstop, so he should just meet her once and get it over with. Jihan agrees, and thanks to that, the two finally met yesterday. Minjun casually mentions that Yurang is actually the one Jihan has been looking for. Yurang's eyes widen. He's been looking for her? She perks up, asking if he really wanted to see her. That's unexpected. Yesterday, he suddenly told her to leave. Maybe he was just shy? Minjun tilts his head. Told her to leave? Yurong grins, saying her kiss must have been too much for him to handle. She decides that Jihan's unpredictable side is part of his charm. Jihan barely reacts. He wasn't talking about Yurong. She spots him and calls out, asking what took him so long. Her Jihan is finally here. He walks right past her without a word. She stands there, baffled. He turns to Minjun, telling him to have a drink. Yurong crosses her arms, waiting for her turn. Jihan glances at her and tells her to have a drink too. She stares at him, completely ignored. Jung chuckles, telling her not to take it personally. Jihan doesn't even look at them either. They could probably talk bad about him right next to him, and he wouldn't notice. As detached as he seems, he's only sitting here because he actually wanted to see them. Jihan never does anything he doesn't want to do. Yurong scoffs. This is hilarious. He spent all day looking for her because he couldn't forget that intense kiss, and now he's pretending she doesn't exist. Jung raises a brow, saying no one ever said that. Jihan shakes his head. Definitely not her. If it were someone as famous as Yurong, he wouldn't be sitting here like this. Why would he be looking for her? Yurong scoffs, asking who else it could be. He was with her last night. Jihan sighs. If he knew, he wouldn't be searching. Jung asks where he met the woman he's looking for. Jihan says Cheongdam Dong Karaoke. Yurong perks up. That's where she was too. She narrows her eyes, asking if he met another woman after sending her away. No way. Was it that woman? The one who walked in while they were kissing? Did she see her face? Yurong hopes not. She doesn't need a scandal over something so ridiculous. Jihan shakes his head. That woman didn't see her. She was too busy looking at him. Yurong rolls her eyes, telling him to back off. He's not that handsome. Jihan glances at his phone and smirks. Found her. Jihan asks where Hyunjin Planning is. Jung says it's an advertising company, one of the top agencies in the country, known for big ads. Jihan asks if they found something. They say she's an assistant manager there. Jung is impressed, says Jihan found that out fast. They joke that if Jihan sets his mind to something, nothing can stop him. They're surprised he spent money on a woman he just met. Losing 40,000 won doesn't even bother him. This is different from anything they've seen before. Jihan asks how high an assistant manager's position is. Jung says it's not low, but not too high either. It depends on the company, but if she's in a core department, she must be doing well. They guess she's in her early to mid-30s. That's kind of in between. Jihan says today is Saturday. She won't be at work until Monday. May she rest in peace. Monday morning, Kang squeezes into a packed subway, feeling like the drinks from Friday are making a comeback. The weekend flew by, and now it's back to reality. She groans. This sucks. She reaches the company entrance. Younggu greets her. She nods. He asks if she didn't bring her car. She sighs. He stares, says her skin looks amazing despite all the overtime and client meetings. What's her secret? She laughs. A sleek car pulls up. Younggu's eyes widen. He watches, amazed. Kang thinks this is a nice little reward for surviving the subway. She tells Younggu they should get inside. Then a voice calls from behind. She freezes. That voice. Turning around, she locks eyes with those familiar gray eyes, the rookie from the karaoke place. What is he doing here? He walks up, grinning. Before she can react, he pulls her into a hug. She shoves him back. He chuckles. Younggu watches in shock. Kang's mind races. She's so screwed. Kang grabs his hand, dragging him along. He's heavy, but she's being nice, so he should just follow. He asks where they're going. She says anywhere. No, actually, she wants to fly off this planet. Even her parents don't know about her private life. And now this guy? If she had come in earlier and he barged into her office, would he have announced he was looking for manager Kang So-hyun, who had an amazing Friday night with him? She screams internally, no way, she's about to get promoted. If the soft-hearted manager sees this, he might say, seriously? Assistant manager Kang is such an idiot. What's this nonsense at the office? Pervert. Lecher. Write an apology immediately. This can't happen. She has to get rid of him before anyone notices. He has to leave and never come back. She asks if he's lost his mind pulling this stunt first thing in the morning. Does he even know where he is? He says he thought she'd like it. Like it, her foot. She demands to know how he even found this place. He grins, says she did something cute. So he wanted to hear her thoughts on the 100,000 won service. He tells her to speak up. Did she buy him? She's confused. Buy him? Is he talking about the repair cost? The buttons were right there. Didn't he see them? The money was just for fixing them, that's all. He says it doesn't even make sense, but for some reason, he wants to keep listening. She asks what doesn't make sense. Why else would she leave money? It wasn't compensation, so if he misunderstood, he should clear it up now. They both wanted it. They rolled around until dawn. Their bodies don't lie, do they? She debates whether to argue back. Being cute isn't her thing. She never should have left anything behind. Why money of all things? He asks if she has time now. She wants to know why. He leans in, voice low, says he's been holding back all weekend. It was tough. What about her? She says sorry, but her rule is one night and done. He calls her innocent. She says it's just that nothing good ever comes out of it. He says it would be different with him. She's sure it wouldn't. That night was too sweet, completely melted her, and that's exactly why he's dangerous. She asks if his body controls his mind. He grins, says that's right. And with that body, he held her. She tells him to separate her personal life from work. Maybe he doesn't know because he's new to the workforce, but bringing this kind of thing to the office? Not okay. That night was nothing serious for her. She doesn't want to waste any more time or energy. Did he get that? Is it over now? Can she go to work? Is it safe to leave? They should get out of there before it's too late. He asks how old he has to be for her life to feel even more exhausting. His skin is flawless, not a single pore in sight. No way he's a minor, right? He asks when her lunch break is, says he'll be nearby, or she should just come with him now. He touches her head, then her waist, tells her skipping one day of work isn't a big deal. She thinks this guy is completely out of his mind. She's never felt ashamed or guilty about chasing pleasure. Being honest about desire isn't something to be criticized, but she'll never do this again. After meeting someone even crazier than her, she realizes something. This is dangerous. She needs to turn her eyes away from men. Getting involved with a guy this young, a guy whose name and identity she doesn't even know? Yeah, never again. Younggu asks who that guy was earlier. She acts confused. He says, come on, she knows who he's talking about, that high school-looking guy who pulled up in a sports car. She asks why he's suddenly so curious. He says the guy's too good-looking to be random. Is he her boyfriend? A celebrity? She scoffs. Who would date a jerk like that? She tells him not to worry about it. He asks if the guy's bad news. She says he's a nasty piece of work and not someone she'd introduce to anyone, not even in a million years. She needs to draw a clear line so he never gets mentioned in her life again. But first, she needs nicotine. She hates that punk. How dare he mess with her life? She's handled all kinds of ridiculous client demands. Does he think she'll just let some kid push her around? Just wait. She's about to tear through his childish threats like paper. He wants to play games? She'll show him how adults do things. The team looks at her and wonders how she looks so fine. Did she secretly pour her drinks away last night? She laughs, says a real drinker knows how to handle a hangover properly. Then she turns to Han, asks if he just made ramen at home. They have to put together a design draft and present it to Jisung this week. She says they should work on it together. He wants a luxury feel, which is fine, but the ad concept is too similar to Ilsan Electronics. If they go with that, they'll have to scrap concept B too. It overlaps too much. TV ads all look the same anyway, so they just need to make the visuals stand out more. They're stuck. In times like this, instead of reusing the same tired ideas, they should try something new. Han asks if she has something in mind. She says Jae-sung kept talking about today's women while they were drinking, saying things like women peak at 25 or should marry early. The whole team cringes. Disgusting. They all apologize on behalf of men everywhere. She says the fact that he keeps bringing it up means he knows there's a shift happening. He's realizing women's social position is changing. Until now, they've been selling TVs, but never with a woman as the sole lead. If they strike the right nerve, women won't be able to resist buying. She asks if they know why women spend 100,000 won on a pedicure. Someone says it's for attention. Another says it's just luxury spending. She shakes her head. No way. Women live and die for style. Picture this, a stained glass staircase, a woman in a silk dress moving up the steps, the fabric shimmering like it's covered in diamonds. This incredible 8K TV catches every dazzling detail, making it impossible to look away. The woman turns and the camera zooms in on her eyes. Reflected in them is another woman, watching from her sofa, mesmerized. She sighs, leans back, completely lost in the moment. The camera pulls back, showing her luxurious living room, the TV glowing in front of her. Then they hit them with the tagline, "Adorn the pinnacle of style." She says they should wrap things up before tomorrow's meeting. As expected, Kang So-hyun the tyrant. Someone says right, if things don't go her way, she'll grab you by the collar and drag you where she wants. It's rough sometimes, but the results speak for themselves. Isn't Kang amazing? She's so good at her job, and there's so much to learn from her as a senior. During break, she moves on to her next target. She calls Jihan and asks where he is. He says he's at a cafe nearby. She says there are dozens of cafes around, so he should just tell her the name. He says he doesn't know. She should find him herself. She says he's really not answering. What, is this payback for being late? Should she just go home? She searches for him and grumbles that this is the 8th cafe. If he's not here, she's really leaving. She finally spots him and thanks him for making her suffer. He says his heart feels like it's going to burst. She asks if it's because she's looking at him. What's wrong with him? Did he drink all those empty cups? He's not just awake, he's on the verge of collapse. She says this isn't good. Has he been sitting here since morning? No time for chit-chat. They're going to meet his parents. He says that's too fast. She says if he's a minor, there's nothing more to talk about. The adults will handle this. He says she should talk to him instead. She asks if he's a minor. He says her delusions are as bold as they are dizzying, but at least she showed up, so it was worth the wait. Thanks for tuning in. If you're hooked and want more, please comment and subscribe. Your comments and subscriptions fuel my motivation to continue. I'll see you in the next part.